Yes, now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Thomas Fans YouTube channel. Yes, it's Monday. Yes, Monday Night Raw is going to start later on today. But I'm here doing my Smackdown reaction because I need to get it done. I'm not well today, but this video needs to go out. So, as you know, we go through division and division, and we talk about what's happening around those divisions. So, in terms of the Women's United States Championship, nothing is happening. Literally nothing. I mean, I had the whole thing with Zelina and Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, but obviously that's not going to be no WrestleMania match. And honestly, when Trish Stratus came to have the bit of the feud with Nia Jackson, Candice LeRae, I was kind of thinking we'd get a Trish Stratus Chelsea Green match at WrestleMania. It seems that that is not happening because we have not seen any build up for that. We have one episode of SmackDown left. Could to build it in one episode, 100%, but I do not think they're going to do it. So that's a shame. And then when it comes to the United States Championship, LA Knight, obviously he's defending against Jacob at WrestleMania. And that obviously leads to a bit of a bloodline feud. And while Randy Orton didn't have a match, and Randy Orton RKO'd Nick Aldis last week, he had to come out and have a statement with Nick Aldis, and Nick Aldis kind of talked a bit of smack and said, I want your respect and whatever, and it kind of sounded like they were leading towards a Nick Aldis match with Randy Orton. Randy Orton told Nick Aldis to gear up and face him at WrestleMania, but then Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga of the Bloodline come out and spoke to Randy Orton and kind of said they should be the opponent at WrestleMania in certain ways. And obviously with that Bloodline LA Knight feud, LA Knight came out to Randy Orton's aid, and that led to a tag team match in the main event where LA Knight and Randy Orton won. However, the match ended with Randy Orton running off in the crowd fighting Solo Sikoa, meaning they're going to have some business to settle next week, which tells me maybe Solo Sikoa could be the opponent for Randy at WrestleMania. If so, people will be pissed because people wanted Nick Aldis, Rusev or Aleister Black, but it's fine. And obviously LA Knight pinned Tama Tonga to win the match, but Jacob Fatu came out and attacked his WrestleMania opponent. Again, just building the feud. I can't complain. It was a decent match, I won't lie. So I'm just praying it's not Solo Sikoa Randy Orton WrestleMania. I think Randy Orton should have a match with Solo Sikoa. I think they're teasing us that that's going to be the WrestleMania match, but I think they're going to do that this week on SmackDown, and then we'll find out who his opponent for WrestleMania is. Women's tag team division, we had the 6-woman gauntlet to determine the number one contenders to the women's tag team championships, and Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, after they had their banger on Raw, teamed up and they came out first. So immediately I was kind of filled with doubt, thinking, okay, they won't win then. Except they did. They beat 5 other teams and they lasted to the end and won the whole thing. So we're going to get Bayley and Lyra Valkyria versus the Judgment Day, Liv and Raquel, at WrestleMania for the Women's Tag Team Championships. I can't complain because that was probably the best team there. I mean, all the other teams were proper tag teams, but none of them had the right hype. None of them had the right hype or build up, and after Bayley and Lyra just put on a banger, I think people... the WWE was smart with what they were doing. You get 2 big single superstars, put them together and make it seem like a more powerful team, but also put them in a match against each other to show them the level of competition they are. Obviously, we know the level of competition they are, but it builds some recency hype. Now, I don't like this match at WrestleMania at all. Obviously, Bayley and Lyra aren't going to win. I wouldn't complain if they did, but I'm not going to be surprised when they don't. I think Judgment Day should hold the belt a bit longer because WWE really, they need to work on their tag team division, but they also seriously need to work on their women's tag team division. Just saying. Then we had a bit of a segment where DIY were claiming they were cheated against Motor City Machine Guns last week, and Pretty Deadly made fun of them. Obviously, we know now Street Profits have beat both DIY and Pretty Deadly, and now Motor City Machine Guns get their shot next week. But that didn't stop a segment happening between the Street Profits and Melodon Miz. And I remember in the last episode I said I thought we were going to get a big fatal 5-way match with Los Garza, Street Profits, DIY, Pretty Deadly, Motor City Machine Guns. But after the Street Profits have beat every single one of those teams, and they're gonna beat Motor City Machine Guns on the final SmackDown before WrestleMania. I think Melo, Don't Miz, The Miz, and Carmelo Hayes are going to get an opportunity last minute against the Street Profits at WrestleMania, if not just after. But I'm hoping it's at WrestleMania because Melo, Don't Miz has potential. Two charismatic, egotistical people. You could say Carmelo Hayes is like a younger, more athletic, more in-ring gifted version of The Miz. And WWE has potential to cook. They've kind of slapped this tag team together out of nowhere. But we know WWE, we know they can cook with these types of things, so we've got to let them try. And honestly, I'm here for a WrestleMania. I wouldn't say WrestleMania is the moment to hand the belts over, but it's certainly a match that's there for WrestleMania if they want to sneak any more matches on the card. After Rey Fenix made his debut last week against Nathan Fraser, he then this week faced off against Humberto Carrillo. You know, they just casually keep shortening his name. They beat Humberto of Legado del Fantasma, and it was a great match. I think they really want to show off their Mexican wrestling heritage with that. And after the match ended, Santos Escobar was actually congratulating Rey Fenix and giving him respect, which is weird because it seems like Santos Escobar has a lot of respect for a lot of people, but as a heel, it just doesn't work. And then we seen Santos Escobar scolding Bill in the back saying, basically, get your shit together. And when he told Angel to come with him and leave Bill, there was a bit of a look there. So maybe there's some doubt in Legado del Fantasma, the same as there is in Judgment Day. But that's irrelevant. I think they're just keeping Rey Fenix active and they're just putting him in matches. So yeah, I don't really think that will lead to any major storylines, really. And even if something did happen between Legado del Fantasma, how many people would care? Virtually none. Now, they did announce on the show that after last week's ugly off-script promo with Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair, there was disciplinary actions and they had to stay home. They said, just like every sport, we have disciplinary actions, except the disciplinary actions were for the insults that were thrown. And it just seems weird because saying like, oh, your boyfriend's in my DMs just means like what? Like, I know it was off script and shoot, you might actually probably be like mad at it, but for the TV you can't say, oh, it's disciplinary actions because they spoke to each other. I mean, this is a company where people hit each other with barbed wire. Like, that's nothing. But regardless, Tiffany Stratton had a match against Roxanne Perez, arguably a pay-per-view match. Tiffany beat her, and then Charlotte Flair came out of the crowd and attacked her afterwards. I think the feud's well established, and I think we just want the WrestleMania match, then we'll want it over. Do something different with Charlotte Flair. But honestly, from the sounds of it, I thought this was like shoot, like they were going to cancel Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton, and I thought they were going to replace Charlotte Flair with Roxanne Perez. But obviously that wasn't happening. That was just me overlooking things and reading too deep into it. But finally, the WWE Championship division, Cody Rhodes came out in a promo where they had all the previous WWE titles lined up. Oh, well, they claim all, they had about 5. There's about 15 other WWE Championships, but it's fine. And it was basically just to promote John Cena, saying, you know, you want to run away with the title, you want to ruin wrestling. Well, we're not going to let you. The title stays here. Just building WrestleMania. There wasn't much that exciting on this show. Again, it's just the road to WrestleMania. It's just another step towards WrestleMania. So, decent show, decent matches. Great gauntlet match. You can't complain. They did announce that next week on SmackDown, we will have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Love that. Love that. I'm glad they've never stopped doing that. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal needs to remain a thing because it means all the people who didn't get a match on WrestleMania have something at WrestleMania weekend. I wish they'd still do it on actual WrestleMania and have it as maybe like a pre-show match, but they don't do pre-show matches or kickoff matches anymore. It's just on SmackDown, so it doesn't feel as special. So not everyone actually gets to perform at WrestleMania, but they call it WrestleMania weekend, so you never know. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.